Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the part two of critical thinking skills, where we are going to understand the secret power of critical thinking. And now I'll take up the second strategy or the tip for today, like break the echo chamber. That is, the various perspective or the opposing views should be given weightage, should also be heard. It is not that if somebody or some person is not having the same view, it will be wrong. Even a person with different perspective can be correct. So this we have to make the children understand so that they are able to accept the diversities in and around their surroundings in this world. They become acceptable and they accept people very well where they are living, or maybe in future they are going to move. So now I'll be inviting Miss Vandana Chandwani ma'am. She is going to help us understand how to inculcate critical thinking skills in English. So, yes, ma'am, please go ahead. Yes, ma'am, please.
All right, so today I'm here to share really important and crucial information as to how to inculcate critical thinking in English. Critical thinking, why the question comes, why critical thinking matters in English classrooms. Let us begin with an understanding that it works as a core life skill. Critical thinking is a core life skill which helps students gain confidence, and it also helps them perform better in any field that they choose, not only in their professional lives but in their personal lives as well. Not during their childhood student life, but also it hangs on with them, it stays with them in their adulthood as well. In a way, it helps them turn into a better human being, confident and stronger person, stronger individual, not only academically, but also emotionally and psychologically as well. We would also like to see at it that it is definitely not a luxury or a trend, but a basic right of every learner. What do I mean when I say this? A basic right. I mean, this is something, critical thinking is a core life skill that should be accepted and developed as a basic right and should be imparted to each and every learner and student. Now, the question comes to our mind that how English as a subject can provide ample opportunities to a student when it comes to develop their critical thinking. It's very interesting to see that English as a language um, provides them ample opportunities, say, because we have various content to help them give this skill through stories at times, poems, conversations, debates, speeches, because it's a language which is very much in practice in their everyday basis, everyday lives. So, which is why it becomes really very easy for an English educator to help them develop this crucial skill in their lives. Now, we also, if we look at it, having discussed or having mentioned that English as a language can help them develop their critical thinking. Now, the next question comes, how? How can, the critical thinking can be enhanced through English? we have few practical suggestions mentioned here on the slides, as can be seen here. As an educator, language educator, we can always ask them open-ended questions, such as why and how questions, which means we should not always at all given times should ask them the content related direct questions. We should at all times we should try to ask them open-ended questions such as why did something happen, why did a certain character behaved that particular way, and how does it affect the ending of a lesson, say for instance when we are doing a literature lesson. Next, encourage multiple interpretations. What can be done when we say this? Multiple interpretations, for example, when we are taking up a lesson or a literature, poetry, or a play, we can always ask them to uh, interpret the beginnings, the endings, the characters. How can they be interpreted by each one of them? So it's not always right to tell them just read out the stories in front of them and not giving them opportunity to think that how do they think this particular story can be interpreted. So multiple interpretations can always be encouraged. So this will help them think critically about the content. Now, the next would be promoting connections. Promoting connections can be taken up in various ways, such as text to text, text to life as well, which means that while taking up English class, we can ask our students to relate their life situations to the text that is being discussed in the class or explained in the class. What will this do? This will help them think deeply, try to connect the dots, right? So at times, this can be done, as I said, text to life and text to different text. So this will also help them develop a better understanding and a deeper understanding about the content that they are dealing with at hand. So there are multiple ways. We have already discussed 3. We have more coming up, which is like using role plays. Now, using role plays would be typically effective when we are taking up plays. When we are handling plays, we are teaching them different plays. Every standard has 1 or 2 plays in their syllabus. So that is a very, very interesting and effective way to understand the characters deeply. We can indulge into a bit of role playing, appointing students to play different roles in order to help them understand the characters. Yeah, instead of just narrating and going on with the describing and reading out the plays to them, role playing is definitely going to help them immensely when it comes to understanding of those characters. Next, we have justifying opinions with evidence. What do I mean when we see this, right? So we should always teach our students to justify their opinions with evidence, which means like, first of all, we should value their opinions rather than imposing our opinions on them when we are dealing with the literature part. So instead of just imposing our opinions and the facts that we see in the text that we have in our hands, we should try to help them come up with their opinions so that they become vocal about it. And not only this, once we take them into confidence and value their opinions, we should ask them what makes them say so, what makes them have this particular opinion. So they should give evidence from the text that we are dealing dealing with at that particular time. So that's really going to be helpful. And then we have, including, we can analyze short text and media, which means that we can include those media for analysis and debate and short texts. Anything relevant to the topic that we are dealing with, right? So if we are dealing, supposedly we are explaining them about a sensitive issue or a topic, say, for instance, about crime or criminal activities in the capital city, or probably about what do they think about the recent developments in the education system. Supposedly, we want them to have a debate on that. How can we help them come up with, support their ideas? So that can also be made effective by making use of text and media, which can work as a tool for them to analyze and debate the content. Now, once we have discussed all these points here briefly, although, it won't be possible if we do not help them build a thinking vocabulary, which is most crucial. Suppose, for instance, we have taken up all the steps we discussed now, but they don't have the adequate strong vocabulary to be able to come up with what we discussed now. So when they lack the vocabulary, thinking vocabulary herein we are talking about, and we have few examples here, such as infer, words like infer, words like evaluate, bias. So they can always make use of these words actually to be able to, make use of this thinking vocabulary is definitely going to help them express themselves in a better way and make use of all these points that we discussed here. Else, it will be useless, if they don't have the strong vocabulary that they require to express themselves. So as a role, as educator, our roles become really very, very crucial and important and significant here. What can we do? Right. If we know, okay, these are the pointers that we can, as a language educator, we can help them have or develop the skill that we are considering here. But then how is it going to be possible? See, suppose a student is good enough, he's bright enough, he has all the information, right? But he won't be able to express himself if he's fearful, if he is not vocal, if he is just not able to, he lacks courage. So our role as educators become really very important to help them overcome the fear of asking questions, right? Because unless they come up and ask questions, it would really not be possible. And for that, we need to create safe spaces for the healthy discussion to be, taking place in a classroom. And definitely that we should make sure and that every voice is valued in the class. Let every student feel secured and confident enough to feel that their voice matters. Else, I mean, all the efforts that we take in the classroom would be futile, that won't bring the desired result. And this is going to be actually the fear that we are talking about is not something imaginary, it is very real. Most of the times the students that we see in our classrooms, they struggle with the fear of what do we say, that the others are going to comment, they will not be accepted, they fear to come up with stupid questions sometimes. So that is something that we should always be taking care of, which is really very crucial and not to be ignored at any point of time. Thank you so much. I hope it helps. Yeah.
Thank you, Vanda ma'am. Very well said that if we ask open-ended questions, if we create a safe space to the kids, or say for the kids, and we help in building vocabulary to the students, this is going to help enhance critical thinking skills amongst the students. Now, point here is it's not that English we need to build the vocabulary. It is actually need of the every subject. Every subject has their own technical words or say keywords which the children need to understand. They should be able to use them in an appropriate manner. And this can only happen if the educator is able to actually inculcate this kind of behavior amongst the children to give importance to the keywords rather than going for the slang language or say the common words. Children should understand to use the subject appropriate keywords. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now